Because I've always been a community guy. I always loved working with kids. You know, I graduated with a degree in secondary education. You know, I am a teacher. And working with inner city kids is where my heart was because, you know, I was definitely coming from there. And I definitely understood that there's just not enough there and not enough people giving back there for these kids. They needed direction in terms of, okay, well, I'm aspiring to go this other level. What should I be doing? You know, what should I be doing in the classroom? What should I be doing, you know, skill-wise, socially? How could I even prepare myself to, you know, adjust from going from Canada to the U.S.? There was no one to guide these kids like this, and no one was going to do it. So I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to have to do it on my own.
In 1995, Wayne began running programs and clinics to help city basketball players. 3 years later, he knows all too well the pitfalls of life in the inner city.
These kids are in an environment that's rough, you know, where they're dealing with a lot more issues like gang issues and, you know, violence issues and just, you know, money issues and, you know, make sure they can eat and get on the bus from day to day. Like there's a lot of social issues there that inner city kids are dealing with that you have to be sensitive to.
If you're in an area where you need to achieve, where you need to achieve in order to be somebody successful, it's kind of a good thing, but you know, every day it's like you see a lot of people who could have made it, but they never made it, so that's why it's good to have like positive role models around where they could say, you don't need to sell drugs. You could have an option of using your athletic ability and your academics to get you what you want in life, rather than just...
Going the extra mile is something that encompasses all aspects of Wayne's life when it comes to inner city kids. He keeps long hours from his many different commitments to help children. To him, they are a part of his extended family.
From the time a child enters my life, and that's not even my basketball program, but I always tell them, look, you're my brother, you're my son, you are part of me now.
This openness is not just expressed on the basketball court, but in many different outlets. One way is through his job as a teacher at Lawrence Heights Middle School.
Are they, you think they're a good thing or a bad thing?
No, sometimes it's bad.
Monica, you think they're good?
I view any and every child the same way, that I have responsibility to them, to be there for them, to help them, to assist them in any way possible.
You ever heard that term before? Yeah. Cyber chat, is it called? Cyber chat.
Yep.
Okay.
If I don't, I can't, there's no guarantee that someone else will be there for them.
Okay, so what's happening so far?
Every week on Saturday, Wayne takes part in a mentorship program for inner city kids.
My philosophy in dealing with them is just being real with kids. I let you into my life. We go walk the mall, go shopping. It's very key, especially with the type of kids we work with, that they really need a positive figure in their life. Because for the most part, a lot of what they see is negative in their neighborhoods, everywhere they go, at home.
Adding more to his already hectic schedule, Wayne recently created an outlet to help young inner city girls, a dance group he calls the Lawrence Heights Steppers.
Basketball is the best activity in terms of keeping kids out of trouble. These kids will play it for hours, and they'll play it to the point of exhaustion. So when they leave, all they want to do is get something to eat and go relax. So again, that's more time these kids are spending away from the streets and away from some of the obviously poor role models that are out on the streets.
Wayne feels that in the past he may not have been such a positive role model. One reason he strives so hard to be one now, the idea of family, of being someone children can look up to, became more important than ever to him this past summer. For in the blink of an eye, his life changed forever.
We used to always joke in my family that death never seemed to visit our doorstep. My younger brother, definitely an easygoing guy. Brian, this past August, he passed away on the basketball court. He had a heart disorder that he wasn't aware of. I don't know, it just didn't seem real. didn't seem real at all. Being his older brother and being someone he looked up to, I was not the kind of role model for him that I needed to be. Once that reality hit me, I looked at every kid and I was like, you know what, this is God giving me another opportunity to be a role model, to not being a stumbling block for anyone. I remember, I think I returned to practice. It was the next day. I was inspired to get back in there with those kids and not miss a beat with
And
them.
it doesn't just help city kids. George Krause coaches his son Chris at Markham High School outside Toronto. Every week they make the trip into the city to be a part of the Ball Hawks.
I like Wayne's philosophy because it's more than just getting on the court playing basketball. There's a lot of skill development. Probably half to two-thirds of the practice is skill development.
We respect him so much because we know he's been there, and we're trying to do what he has done throughout his life and get ahead in basketball and get to the next level.
Wayne's Toronto elite development is merging with that of Roe Russell, a successful local coach who's been running a similar program. Wayne and Roe were rivals before, causing a split among the city's top players. But for the good of the kids, they decided to put aside differences and merge under the new name of Grassroots Canada.
Well, what appealed to us while we joined forces was we just felt that, there was no real reason why we should be competitors. I'm helping kids, he's helping kids. We should be friendly. He really cares about the kids, loves developing kids, loves giving what he has to offer.
Since the start of the program, Wayne has helped dozens of players realize their dreams of a Division I scholarship.
Wayne Smith's at Duquesne. He's one of the top players in the country. Steve Morrison went on to Weber State, and Carl English and Phil Martin there at Hawaii, and Mohamed Lasage, he's at Louisville. Just on and on, just tons of players that came out of this community that passed through our Ball Hawks program.
Although Wayne is proud of his graduates, he lights up when discussing some of the stars of his current team.
Tristan Martin's another phenomenal player. He's by far the quickest guy I've ever seen. Andrew Carpenter is another player. He is the best defender in the country. And then there's Denham Brown. By far, he is the most talented player in the country.
Denham Brown is considered by many to be the best player to come out of the city of Toronto in years, a unique talent who's become the star of Wayne's program.
They foul him, they double team him, they triple team him.
And it'll be pretty exciting to see him get an opportunity to play Division I basketball because he's going to do very well.
While the program has been successful in helping kids, it's a taxing ordeal on Wayne financially. Some sponsorship money helps to offset costs, but not enough. Wayne estimates he has put over $20,000 out of his own pocket into the program over the years.
You're certainly not going to get rich. You're not going to make anything because there's nothing to make. And matter of fact, it sucks it out of you.
Wayne has had to put many of his own personal needs on hold, struggling to keep the program afloat. He crisscrosses the city from event to event by public transportation, unable to afford luxuries such as a car. But they are sacrifices that don't go unnoticed.
Wayne helps a lot. He puts like 100% all the time. He goes out of the way to do things. You know what I mean? Puts his own money in, tries to, sacrifice his own time with his family.
Not a lot of us really have a lot of money, but the coaches really help us out.
The Toronto Elite Development Program that Wayne runs is made to be as inexpensive as possible for the kids. And that's a credit to Wayne because a lot of these kids don't have the money, and there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes to allow these kids to have a chance to play.
Numerous times his rent would be, way past due, and we'd find ways to, kind of squeeze it last minute and pull things together. But I mean, as far as his landlord, she hated him.
What is our life? I can't take those things with me when I pass away. So when I look at the impact and the influence I've had on many lives and the kind of relationships I've built over the years by being sacrificial. I mean, I would trade it for anything.